The Earth is so polluted that the inhabitants have left the planet. Wally's job is to crush waste into cubes and use them to build skyscrapers. The treasures he finds brighten up his house. One day, he meets the mysterious female robot, Eve, and falls in love. Today, we will recap the story of the 2008 movie, WALL-E. The film opens with a scene in space, gradually zooming in to show the brown and trash-filled Earth below. The main character, a small robot named WALL-E, is then introduced as it drives around and collects trash from the desolate streets. WALL-E compresses the garbage it collects into tiny blocks before continuing to navigate the empty streets on its track-like wheels. As the robot continues its journey, the pervasive message of the film becomes clear. The world is overrun with trash, and there are no humans in sight to address the problem. Shortly after, WALL-E enters a transit terminal where he is bombarded with advertisements for B&L starliners and spaceships that apparently remove garbage from Earth every day. One ad even shows happy people on a spaceship, enjoying their time and relaxing. WALL-E eventually returns to its home, which is a garbage truck. Despite the upbeat music playing in the background, WALL-E appears lonely as it sings and dances, while holding a Rubik's Cube. The robot's large eyes express a sense of sadness as it sits alone, watching TV and holding its own hands. Later that same night, WALL-E steps outside and gazes up at the stars. Suddenly, an alarm sounds and a cloud of dust rolls in, prompting the robot to invite its bug friend inside its garbage truck home and quickly shut the door. The following day, WALL-E wakes up to the sound of a low-power alarm. It attaches tracks to its fate in the same way people put on their clothes, before recharging its battery using a nearby solar panel. As the robot ventures outside, it accidentally runs over its bug friend, causing a moment of panic. Fortunately, the bug emerges unharmed. WALL-E comes across a diamond ring but decides to discard it, keeping the box instead. The robot continues to collect and stack rubbish blocks, eventually discovering a small green plant, which it carefully places inside its box. Upon returning home, WALL-E notices a red laser dot on its door and proceeds to chase it around. It becomes clear that the city is being scanned by these lasers. While focused on the laser, WALL-E narrowly avoids being hit by a spaceship. A white robot with blue eyes emerges from the ship, adding a new character to the story. The new robot begins scanning the ground with blue lasers, while its spaceship takes off. WALL-E observes the robot from a distance, hiding behind a large rock. The robot eventually spots WALL-E and fires its gun, narrowly missing the robot. The new robot proceeds to scan WALL-E, causing a red light to flash on its front before departing. Despite the encounter, WALL-E decides to follow the mysterious robot. That evening, the robot flies past WALL-E and later goes to sleep. When the robot wakes up, it discovers that WALL-E has constructed a robot out of rubbish that resembles the design of the robot. The robot resumes scanning its surroundings until it gets stuck under a large magnet, rendering it unable to fly away. The robot attempts to shoot the magnet, but to no avail. WALL-E approaches the robot and the two begin conversing, with the robot introducing itself to WALL-E as Eve. As a cloud of dust approaches, WALL-E takes Eve by the hand and leads her to his home. There, he shows Eve his various possessions, including bubble wrap, which Eve pops and finds amusing. WALL-E presents Eve with the Rubik's Cube, which she solves in an impressive 2 seconds. Eve becomes visibly happy upon seeing footage of humans on the TV. WALL-E proceeds to dance and sing as he had seen on TV earlier. Eve attempts to mimic WALL-E's dance moves, but ends up jumping around and nearly causing objects to fall off the shelves. WALL-E demonstrates how to spin, but Eve accidentally knocks him over. After repairing himself, WALL-E interacts with Eve. WALL-E later shows Eve the small green plant he had discovered earlier, which she scans, causing the light on her front to turn green for the first time. Eve is excited by the discovery of the green plant and places it inside her body, which then shuts down with a large green light flashing on her front. WALL-E brings Eve to his roof and patiently waits for her to wake up. As time passes, WALL-E waits patiently next to Eve on the roof. In a humorous moment, he gets struck by lightning and gets electrocuted while trying to wake her up. Later, WALL-E uses lasers to carve WALL-E and Eve in a love heart shape, just like couples who carve their names into trees. He tries to hold her hand but falls over, creating a comical scene. Eve is on the roof and WALL-E looks up at her. Before he goes, he makes a very sad noise. This is the sound of a broken heart. Wally continues to crush rubbish but looks very sad. On a certain day, Wally spots a spacecraft and rushes towards it. Eve is abducted and taken away, prompting Wally to chase after her and cling onto the departing ship. As they journey into the vast expanse of space, Wally endeavors to demonstrate to Eve the magnificence of their surroundings. He swiftly recharges his batteries by harnessing the power of the sun and is left awestruck by the sheer beauty of space. After a while, the spacecraft descends onto a colossal space station known as the Axiom. Wally gazes on, as Eve is disembarked and subjected to scanning by small robotic assistants. A robotic voice declares 16% foreign contaminant. Following this, the miniature machine proceeds to cleanse Eve. Wally is then picked up and scanned, and the voice utters 100% foreign contamination, much to the surprise of the little robot. Wally tumbles over, causing him to leave some dirt on the floor, and the little robot becomes infuriated and proceeds to eliminate the filth. Soon after, several other robots arrived and Eve undergoes a scanning procedure before being taken away. Wally tracks her down, leaving a trail of soil behind. The angry little robot from earlier chases after him, dutifully cleansing the dirt tracks as it goes. For the first time, we are introduced to a big man sitting on a floating chair and having a video call with his friend who is sitting beside him. Later, we see a large room filled with overweight people also sitting on floating chairs and communicating with each other via video call. It's worth noting that everyone in the room is wearing identical clothing. In the movie, we come across a prominent sign that reads B&L while the speaker promotes the brand as By and Large, claiming that it has everything one needs to be happy. There are advertisements all over the place promoting food and encouraging people to eat. During this scene, a man tries to hand his empty cup to Wally, but falls out of his chair due to his large size. As he struggles to get up, Wally comes to his aid and helps him back into his chair. Wally spots Eve on a train and follows her. While everyone on the train is seated in chairs and staring blankly at a screen in front of them, Wally strikes up a conversation with a lady and touches the side of her screen. As a result, the screen disappears, and the woman seems to snap out of a trance-like state. Eventually, Wally finds Eve at the front of the train, and when the train stops, everyone disembarks. Soon after, Wally encounters a robot named Otto, who scans Eve and contacts the captain. Through a screen displaying previous captains who have grown increasingly obese, the current captain checks the computer and makes some announcements. We also learn that the day in question marks the 700th anniversary of Axiom's 5-year cruise. Otto informs Wally that Probe 1 has brought back a positive result, and a screen shows the president declaring that the extraterrestrial vegetation evaluator, or EVE, has returned with a plant, indicating that it's time to return to Earth. The captain receives instructions to place the plant in the ship's holodetector. When a robot arrives to retrieve the plant from EVE, it's discovered that the plant is missing. As a result, the captain declares it's a false alarm, and Eve is taken away for repairs. Wally encounters the captain and shakes his hand, causing dirt to come off onto the captain's hand. The captain then orders Wally to be cleaned. Wally and Eve are subsequently taken away, and the captain discovers that there is Earth on his ship. Eve is sent for cleansing, but Wally mistakenly believes she's being harmed and rushes to her rescue. He grabs her arm and shoots it, which triggers the release of all the other robots from the repair ward. Wally is hailed as a hero, and the other robots carry him through the ship in celebration. Eve retrieves her arm from Wally before they are confronted by steward bots who warn the passengers that there are dangerous robots on the ship. Eve takes Wally and they try to escape, with Eve attempting to send Wally back to Earth in an escape pod. However, Wally refuses to go, and they end up witnessing a small robot placing the plant in the pod. Wally decides to board the escape pod, and Eve pursues him. Once inside the pod, Wally pushes several buttons, causing it to explode. Despite the explosion, Wally survives and finds Eve in space. He then shows her the plant, and she takes it and places it back in the holodetector. The two robots then share a touching moment that resembles a cute robot interaction. The captain becomes curious about Earth and asks the ship's computer for information. Meanwhile, Eve leaves Wally and takes the plant to the captain. The captain hooks Eve up to a TV and sees that Earth is covered in garbage and looks nothing like the picture he saw. He recognizes the tune playing on the TV and starts tapping his foot, causing the plant to fall apart. Eve sees Wally on the screen and watches a montage of the sweet things he did for her. They both appear to be holding their own hands, and Wally runs off to find Eve. The captain decides that they should return to Earth, but Otto insists that they cannot go back home. Otto shows the captain a video from the president, which reveals that Operation Cleanup has failed and that they should remain in space. The captain and Otto argue about going back to Earth. A small robot called Gopher takes the plant from the captain, but it ends up on top of Wally. Otto tries to take the plant away. Then Eve and Wally are about to be ejected into space with the garbage. However, Eve manages to break free and is saved by the little robot Mo, who stops the doors from closing. Wally's battery is running low, so Eve searches through the trash for a new one while Mo cleans Wally. Even though Eve returns without a battery, Wally gives her the plant. She throws the plant and holds out her hand as if to hold hands. Wally hands over the plant and Eve flies away with Wally, Mo, and the plant. Afterwards, Eve intervenes when a steward bot is harming another robot and begins to fly around the ship, followed by a group of friendly robots. Otto notices and sets all of the steward bots free. The captain then instructs Eve and Wally to bring the plant to the Lido deck. However, the steward bots catch up to them and engage in a fight with Eve and her group of robots. Later, Eve and Wally make it to the Lido deck where all the people are. Eve drops the plant and Otto tries to get rid of the holodeck. Wally tries to stop it and almost gets crushed. The captain turns Otto off and takes control of the ship. They all work together to put the plant in the holodeck before the ship jumps to Earth in 10 seconds. Wally is in bad shape, but they make it to Earth. The ship lands and Eve takes Wally to his home. She fixes him up and charges his battery. Eve tries to connect with Wally, but he doesn't recognize her and goes out of his house. She tries to show him the old sound on his TV, but he ignores it. Wally accidentally runs over the bug without realizing it, but Eve feels sad and holds his hand. They interact, but Wally doesn't let go of her hand. Eventually, Wally starts to remember Eve's name, and meanwhile, the captain tells the people about the plants they will grow on Earth, including pizza plants. At the end, the captain expresses his happiness to be back home on Earth. And that's a wrap for our recap of the iconic movie WALL-E. If you enjoyed the beautiful animations and storytelling in WALL-E, then you won't want to miss the movie Ratatouille we uncover next. This delightful film follows the journey of a rat named Remy who dreams of becoming a world-class chef in Paris. With stunning visuals, hilarious moments, and a touching message about following your passions, Ratatouille is a must-watch for any movie lover. So click this video and I'll see you there.